Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend listeners worldwide. Welcome on in to another edition of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, James Espinosa. It is episode number 105. It is Super Bowl Sunday here on the Sports Rush, and this is our third ever Super Bowl Sunday that we have hosted as a show. That is incredible in its own right. It's myself, it's Adin Ducker behind the glass, producing and co-hosting. We have Marroquin in the building.
What's up, James?
Glad you're here, Marcos.
Appreciate it.
And surprise guest this morning, all the way from the University of North Texas, the Mean Green Zone, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Zone, Sports Rush's own. It is Alex Weister.
I'm glad to be back. I'm back, and we got the B-bar working again. I love to see it. I love to see it.
We love to
Papa,
see.
I'm a bad boy.
We love to see all of our production and technology working. Yeah, that's fantastic when you're doing a radio show. 361-882-5397 is the number to get into today's show. We're going to be talking a lot of Super Bowl, but we're going to mix in some other things as well. At 9:50, we're going to go over LeBron's historic night, what that means for his career, and is LeBron the GOAT? 361-882-5397. At 9:30, we'll take our first look at Chiefs and Eagles when we dive into the Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. At 9:20, we got a little bit of sports news. Texas and OU are heading to the SEC a year early in 2024. We got that and more. But right now, question of the day to the listening audience. Hit us up on the text line. It's simple. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Who wins, Eagles or Chiefs? Give us your score predictions. Give us your bold takes. Give us your Super Bowl MVP. I want to know. We want to know. Hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. And with that being said, it is Super Bowl Sunday, 5:30 p.m. kickoff on Fox. Greg Olsen and Kevin Burkhardt will be on the call. The 14-3 Eagles versus the 14-3 Chiefs. How did these teams get here, guys? This is amazing. It's amazing. First of all, how are we feeling about today's Super Bowl? Alex, I'll start with you.
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, after a string of some Super Bowls that I would watch begrudgingly, I'm actually excited to watch one again for the first time in a while. Of course, there's so many different narratives that you could pick from for this game, but I think there's a lot of really interesting players to watch, a lot of fun players to watch, and it's going to be a fun one.
What about you, Marcos?
I mean, I think these are truly the two best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the first Super Bowl since the year 2000 where both teams have been the number one seed going into the playoffs and actually make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Only the sixth time ever that's happening as well. These are two amazing teams, historic in their own right, and it's going to be an amazing game.
Now, I want to throw out this crazy stat that I'm pretty sure you guys might have seen, but for the listening audience, this is how evenly matched these two teams are. The Chiefs are 16-3 overall. They've scored 546 points. They got 6 All-Pros. They have a Kelsey brother, and they have a Kelsey brother on their team, and then the AFC's number one seed. The Eagles are also 16-3 overall, 546 points scored. They also have 6 All-Pros, and they also have a Kelsey brother on their team, and they are the NFC's number one seed. These teams are virtually evenly matched when you look at it from that perspective. Adin, how are you feeling about today's Super Bowl 57?
You know, I expect a really good game, and you know, the eye test. You could say the Eagles, eye test-wise, have a better team, but you can't. Patrick Mahomes, he's the MVP this year. And you can't count him out, especially with how he willed the Chiefs in the win against the Bengals.
Man, that was something else, man. Especially with the injury, fighting back from that. It's going to be a great game. I'm excited about it. If you're out there and you're already barbecuing for the Super Bowl, bravo to you. That is amazing. If you're already popping Super Bowl beers, then hell yes to you as well. It's one of those mornings where you just wake up, and I know I got a couple of young guys sitting in here with me. One's not old enough to drink. One's barely old enough to drink. Adin is old enough, obviously. But it's one of those mornings where you wake up and you're like, you know what? That 8:30 a.m. cold beer doesn't sound bad. Why not? Beer with breakfast, little eggs, little sausage, maybe some hash browns.
What?
Exactly. Go off, right?
What?
So it's going to be a fun day. Another fun note about today's Super Bowl, because, of course, the biggest game, it is the most bet on game of the season. They had a survey, and this is courtesy of ESPN.com. They're expecting 50 million adults to bet a combined $16 billion on today's Super Bowl.
It's a whole lot of money.
And you know what?
Man.
I'm actually a part of that statistic because I have a little bit of money on the game. Just a couple of numbers.
Allegedly.
A couple of numbers, a couple of squares.
Allegedly.
You know, you bought some squares from your tia, or you bought some squares from your grandma, whatever it might be. Just let my numbers hit today, baby, and I'll be happy. All right, so let's get to some more Super Bowl notes here as we kind of just break in the show. The halftime show, guys. Rihanna?
Do I have to play a Rihanna
I want you to
song?
throw me on some Rihanna because Rihanna will be doing the halftime program. She has a 17-year career. Did y'all know that Rihanna has spawned 14 number one songs and 32 top 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 Z95?
I'm pretty sure this is one of them, right?
I think so.
I would imagine so.
So on a scale of 1 through 10, how hyped are we for Rihanna?
I think it'll be a good show, for real.
Yeah?
She's kind of been in the dark for a minute. I think she's been doing her clothing line. I think she's like a billionaire now, but
Yeah.
she made some bangers back in the day.
She
Yes,
did.
that's for sure.
So
I think she has a new album coming out this year.
a new album coming out. Of course, some of her greatest hits include Umbrella.
Banger.
That's a banger from hell.
Shut
Work.
Up and Drive,
Don't Stop the Music.
Diamond,
Please don't stop the.
Rude Boy. Only Girl in the World.
Better Have My
That's a
Money.
great one.
Dude,
That's a
that
great
one.
one.
That one.
That one is a
slaps.
banger. We Found Love. Also
Another
a banger.
great one.
And then this
What's
one
My
they're playing right here,
Name?
Work. Play another one. I want to hear another one.
Gosh,
Wait, hold on. I love the way you lie with Eminem. That song,
that's an Eminem song.
bang.
Eminem featuring Rihanna.
Oh.
That's an Eminem song though.
She sings with the majority of the time, I
Technically.
think, to be honest.
Give me another Rihanna song real quickly.
We're pre-gaming Rihanna.
Yeah,
Play the I'm the only girl in the world.
Only Girl in the World. That's the one being requested by Marcos.
That one bangs.
Oh, that's
No,
Stop the Music.
yeah, turn this
Oh,
up. Turn
that
this
one's
up.
pretty good,
This
though.
one's a good one. So Rihanna will be on today. Now there are rumors out there during the halftime show that Jay-Z might, make an appearance with the Umbrella song.
Kanye?
There's also a Kanye rumor floating out there that
He's
he
not.
might appear.
No,
Is that an
not.
internet report?
No,
Is
they're
that
not.
an internet
The NFL's
report?
not bringing Kanye out.
That would be a PR nightmare.
No, especially the whole Nazi
That would-
Nazi
What if
stuff.
Kanye comes out and have y'all seen Kanye lately where he does these interviews and he's wearing just like that black ski
he's-
mask?
Do you think Taylor Swift is gonna come out if Kanye comes out?
No.
Oh,
I will
brother.
become a crackhead
And
if
DeMar-
Kanye West comes
Bold
out.
claim. Bold claim.
Jesus, all you have to do is walk down the street to find some here.
You think
so.
DeMar Hamlin will be his backup dancer too?
Oh, come
Dude,
on.
what
I'm
do
just
you
saying-
mean?
I'm just
One of
naming
those.
some internet reports.
Oh, wow.
You didn't see the internet report?
Yes, there was a conspiracy
crazy.
that they thought he was
Kanye
dead.
West. Kanye West is not going to be there.
Unless they're ready to pay their PR team overtime and then some.
There's also rumors that Calvin Harris could be there, maybe Paul McCartney. So there we go. Just wanted to kind of throw out a little bit
As
of
long as you don't see Chris Brown there.
halftime talk.
Come on, man.
Wow, dude.
Y'all are crazy
Okay,
today.
okay.
The only hard hits will be on the field, not on the stage.
Y'all are crazy.
Hopefully,
this
Okay,
hopefully,
morning.
hopefully.
what about Drake? They were on. He
Ooh.
was on work.
Yeah,
as
I guess
well.
that's
Maybe?
possible.
Possible. So there we go. Rihanna's going to be on at halftime.
I mean, the only thing Drake's been badly accused of is being a bad dad early in his career.
That's true. That's true. So Rihanna will be on the halftime show, and things will be popping today because we all know it's Super Bowl Sunday. The commercials. Everybody's going to be looking out for the commercials. Everybody's going to be out at parties. And if you're going to a Super Bowl party today,
Be safe.
number one, be safe. Number two, drink responsibly, right? Number three, probably get a ride if you're going to be drinking, all that good stuff.
For you, Marcos.
But if you're going to a Super Bowl party, there's three things that you should live by. Number one, you bring something to the party.
Well, yeah, of course.
Don't be a freeloader out there, all right? Bring something. Number two, don't try to be hardo football guy in a room full of casuals. Do you know what I'm talking about? hardo football guy. We're a bunch of hardo football guys in here, but when we hang out, we talk football, right?
Yeah.
Don't explain the gab scheme.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Bob from accounting is there and Lisa from, I don't know, the front office desk, whatever's there, they're not expecting to hear cover 3, robber coverage with zone schemes, all that stuff. Just keep it chill, man. Keep it chill, all right? And number
Spider
3.
two-eyed banana.
Yeah, exactly. And number 3, don't get too wasted. Nobody likes the super wasted guy, even though
Royal Rumble.
I was the super wasted guy last year at my party.
You were.
But it was my party in my house.
Yeah, Alex, you did not see this man during the Royal Rumble.
I'm glad
It was even worse.
Living La Vida Loca, baby.
Exactly. Living La
I
Vida
had to
Loca.
drive James. I had to drive James to the studio the following day.
Yeah, because my blood alcohol level was probably still. I was probably still drunk, to be honest with you, at 7:30 a.m. coming over here. So, yeah, that was the sensible thing.
Man.
And like I said, I was responsible. So there we go.
Yeah.
Drive responsibly. All right, so there we go. Super Bowl 57. Who wins the game today? 361-882-5397. We're having fun with you. The whole crew is here. It's James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Alex Weister, and Marcos Marroquin. When we come back, we'll do a little bit of the 920 news. We also got some more Super Bowl news and notes to get to, so don't you worry. But I want your reactions right now on the text line. Hit us up. Who wins Super Bowl 57, Eagles or Chiefs? 361-882-5397. Let us know. It's a Super Bowl party. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush, episode 105. It's Super Bowl Sunday, baby. Eagles and Chiefs. It's going down at 5:30.
I'm gonna play some bangers today, man.
I want you to bang it hard today.
Pause.
Bang! All right. Chiefs, Eagles going down. Let us know who your winner is. 361-882-5397. Whole squad in the building. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Alex Weister, Marcos Marroquin. And we're going to have fun today. Get your takes into the text line. 361-882-5397. 361-882-5397. Let us know who's winning the Super Bowl. George D is in here on the text line. Shout out to George, one of our faithful P1s. George says, happy Super Bowl day, guys. It's been a great football season of broadcasting from 1440 a.m. Sports talk from the best. Enjoyed it so much. Super Bowl, in my opinion, will be won by Kansas City because, as I've been saying the last 3 weeks, that Patrick Mahomes is not 100% and he will have that injured animal instinct in back of his mind. That said, 28-24 Chiefs. Thank you all for making my Sunday mornings enjoyable. Thanks once again, George D. I love it. Thank you, George, for getting in. Thank you for getting your takes in. And yes, George has been going with this theory that Patrick Mahomes is the injured animal. And there's no greater... listen, when there's an injured animal who's fighting for his life, there's nothing more dangerous, right? And that's George D's take on Patrick Mahomes, that he's not 100%.
I mean, it's been stated that he's not 100%, but Andy Reid's saying that we probably won't notice is the thing.
Yeah, but... So it's an interesting little, I like that little analogy, that little comp right there, George. The injured animal instinct. I love it.
You know, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, we kind of saw it last week.
Yeah.
In that last drive, especially, you know, he managed to make some plays on his feet. You know, he managed to survive, and they ended up winning the game.
And coming up in 10 minutes, we'll take our first look at Super Bowl Sunday. We will break down the Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. We'll be doing that in about 10 minutes time. But good take right there from George. If you have your takes in, get them in. 361-882-5397. Anthony Gonzalez is in here on Twitter at @agonzo1. Anthony sends us a picture. It's a screenshot of 1440 a.m. on his radio dashboard, and he's holding his Dallas Cowboys tumbler. He says, my Super Bowl pick, and he's holding his Cowboys tumbler with 1440 in the background. I love that. And I like the fact that you're listening to the old school AM, Anthony.
Yeah.
That's pretty baller right there. That's old school.
I
That's a
recommend
flex.
the 98.7 FM.
Yeah, well, Yes, 98.7 FM. Also, make sure you spread the word. We are on FM, but that's cool. Old school 1440 from Anthony.
Yeah, just like, Cowboy Super Bowl appearances, old school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to get that dig in there.
Yeah.
That one hurt James.
That one did hurt. I wasn't expecting any Cowboy shots today, but whatever. It is what it is. So, let's dive into it. Let's go to the 920 news.
Oh, man. Oh,
Get it.
Oh, you fumbled.
Come on.
It's Super Bowl Sunday.
There's a lot of news.
All right. 920 news here.
Let's pick this up a little bit. It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Let's go.
Why are we fumbling around?
Episode 105. I don't know. This is the biggest game of the year, the biggest day of the year. There should be no mistakes.
Remember, there's still B-bar issues, so.
That's true. Still B-bar issues. Still B-bar issues. All right. 920 news. Texas and Oklahoma have agreed to leave the Big 12 early. They worked out a deal with Fox and ESPN and all that good stuff. They worked out a deal, and they will be starting in the SEC in 2024. Texas and OU have agreed in principle to pay the Big 12 a total of $100 million to join the SEC a year earlier than they had originally intended, the conference announced on Thursday night. So, with that being said, Texas will now be in the SEC in 2024. And there was also another report out there that the Texas and the Texas A&M game is officially going to be back on a yearly basis. The Longhorns and Aggies
Love it.
will play in 2024 and onward into perpetuity. So that is incredible. The fact that Texas is back, Texas is in the SEC, Texas will be playing A&M. No more hiding, Aggie fan. No more hiding. No more of this. Oh, we're SEC. We're the Aggies. Dude, no more. It's finally going to be on the field again after a decade-long plus hiatus. And let's not forget, the last time Texas and Texas A&M did play, Justin Tucker hit a game-winning field goal on your ass up in College Station. So I can't wait for that rivalry to be renewed. And that's going to be pretty incredible.
And now he's like the greatest kicker of all time.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes, I agree with you, Marcos.
And the other cool thing about this is in 2024, guys, not only are Texas and OU joining the SEC, but that's the same year that USC and UCLA are joining the Big Ten. And that's the same year that the college football playoff expands to 12 teams. So
Big things on the horizon.
So 2024 is essentially like a new era of college football.
Wait, they're going to 12?
Yeah, 12 teams
Wow.
in the college football playoff.
I just missed that piece.
They're
of
going
news.
to the old school NFL format.
Yep, top two teams get a bye, and then the rest play.
I hope they don't expand it too much, though.
Or top
too much
four
more than
teams.
that.
That's sort of the worry for a lot of people is that they just keep on going.
I don't want it to be like the NBA where over half the teams make it, you know?
I think 12 is pretty reasonable, though.
Yeah.
I think that's okay when you think about how many teams actually play D1 football. There's like 120 something.
Well, I mean, you know, like
Yeah.
the big name schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and there's going to be an opportunity for the top 5 conference champions are going to get automatic bids. The top G5 champion, so we're talking like the AAC, Conference USA, the top champion out of there will get an automatic bid to the playoffs. So you could see theoretically in the future, you could see a team like North Texas, you could see a team like UTSA make the playoffs. Like legitimately make the playoffs.
Yeah, don't put North Texas into that. We don't deserve to be.
I was
in
trying
that
to
talk
throw you
yet.
a bone right there as a North Texas guy.
We're under construction. Give us a few years and then we'll talk.
Y'all
about
guys are coming off the heels of the Austin Aney departure.
Yeah, Austin Ani. Yeah, going to the NFL draft. I don't know how well it's going to go for him. but
30-year-old Austin Aney.
Yeah.
So-
I don't know.
All righty. Let's go over this real quickly. Since we're talking Super Bowls, going back to Super Bowl news real quick, there was a ranking of the top 15 greatest Super Bowl quarterbacks. Now, I'm only going to go over the top 5 because of time purposes, right? And the criteria that was used when making this list was Super Bowl appearances, performances in Super Bowls, MVPs won, records set, significance, or the lasting impact of their performances and strength of opponent. Now, let's go all the way down to number 5. All right? Number 5 on this list, we will go ahead and start with Troy Aikman. Number 5, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 3-0 record, Super Bowl 27 MVP. It was hard to read those Roman numerals, but there we go. Super Bowl 27. And he had a 70 career Super Bowl completion percentage. First quarterback to win 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year span. I like that. I think number 5 is Troy Aikman. That's fair.
Yeah, he played well in the postseason,
In this list, according to CBS NFL, John Elway is number 4 on this list.
He's played in 5.
5 Super Bowl starts. That's correct. 2-time champion and Super Bowl 33 MVP.
Yeah, I remember that was when he lit the Falcons up after their safety was caught like in the prostitution ring, and the day before or the night before.
You're right about that.
Yeah, Eugene Robinson.
Yeah, Eugene Robinson. That was crazy. What's crazy about this right here is Elway was a Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 33. Aikman was Super Bowl 30.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of Elway being like way older than Aikman, which he is, right?
Yeah.
It's just insane that he's won a Super more recently than the Cowboys have.
Yeah,
That's just an insane
It's definitely
thought.
a little crazy.
Yeah.
Number
school,
3
like I said.
they have on this list is Terry Bradshaw.
He
I can
performed
agree- I
very
can-
well.
I
in
can
Super
agree with that.
Bowls. If you look at what he's done, I think he's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, right?
2-time Super Bowl MVP, 4-time champion, 4-0 in the Super Bowls, first quarterback to throw 4 touchdown passes in 1 Super Bowl, and he's had Super Bowl completions. He was throwing bombs back then.
Yeah.
75 yards, 73, 64, 53, and 47 yards. And he had 4 touchdowns and 0 interception in Super Bowl fourth quarters. He was as clutch as they came
He was like the Tom Brady of his day, right?
back in the day.
OG TB12.
Yep.
And number 2 on this list, Joe Montana.
Yep.
4-time champion, 4-0, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in Super Bowls.
Wow.
And he's the quarterback that has the greatest margin of victory in Super Bowl history at 45 points. His
Man.
Niners teams usually whipped ass in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. They blew out the Dolphins. They had a couple of wins against the Bengals, and I forgot the other one that they had in there somewhere along the line.
A couple ones against the Bengals. They
Dolphins.
they beat the Broncos
There we go. Yeah, they
They
whipped
just
the
blew out.
Broncos.
in Super Bowl history.
And number 1, can y'all guess who's number 1?
I think the guy. in
Aiden,
the-
can you guess who's
yeah.
number
I
1
know
on
who's
this
number
list
1.
of the greatest Super Bowl quarterbacks of all time? Who is it?
I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not giving
Wow.
you the satisfaction.
I'm
Just
not
say it.
giving you the satisfaction.
Just say it, James.
The GOAT.
Tommy 7 rings, Tom Brady.
Yep.
Recently retired, 10 Super Bowl starts, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 7-time champion. Super Bowl career passing leader in attempts, completions, and TD passes. Super Bowl single game passing yards leader, and led the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, down 28-3 against the Falcons.
My favorite Super Bowls were the 2 against the Giants. I thought he played absolutely well down the stretch.
What about that one against the Eagles?
Well, that was great too, but
Brady led 4 game-winning drives in the big game. There we go. Awesome. I just wanted to wrap up that segment
Speaking
with
of-
top 5 Super Bowl quarterbacks. Go ahead, Marcos.
Speaking of Super Bowl quarterbacks, in this game, this is the first ever game with 2 starting black quarterbacks, and the youngest combined age of the starting quarterbacks ever
Wow.
in a Super Bowl.
Marcos, fun
Truly,
facts. I
truly
like
impressive.
that. I like the Super Bowl fun facts, Marcos. Keep those coming.
Appreciate it.
We're in a
I'll
new
get some
age of
more
the NFL.
brewing.
Yeah, new age of the NFL. That's a great note right there. And yeah, first 2 black quarterbacks to go head to head. They're both Texas guys, Texas high school football guys, so that's pretty cool. All right, with that being said, coming up next, we take our first look at Super Bowl 57. Chiefs offense versus Eagles defense. Get your takes in here. Who wins the Super Bowl? 361-882-5397. The Sunday Sports Rush rolls on. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush, episode number 105. Super Bowl Sunday here with you. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Alex Weister, Marcos Marroquin with here. The entire crew is here on Super Bowl Sunday. Eagles and Chiefs. Who wins the big game today? 361-882-5397. Let's go ahead and hit the text line. Annette's in here. Annette simply says the Eagles will win. All right. So Annette's going with the Eagles. Edward's in here. Edward says Eagles 29, Chiefs 24. So he has a close game. That'd be kind of a good score right there. I want to see a close game. More than anything, I want to see this one be close.
Yes.
We got Ipkiss in here. IPCUS. Ipkiss. He says Eagles. It sucks, but it's facts. So he's going with the Eagles as well. And Cordero is in here. Cordero says he's going for the Eagles. So, wow. Kind of weird. We have a lot. Like, typically, this is a Cowboys market. And, those people who just tweeted in and texted in, I know for a fact that they are Cowboys fans because I've seen them feign their support for the Cowboys. And they're all going for the Eagles. You would think the opposite. You would think as a Cowboys fan, you're going for the Chiefs today.
I think earlier this week, I saw like some reports from betting websites. 78% of the money was on the Eagles.
That's a crazy amount.
Yeah, 78%.
How?
Earlier this week, I think the Chiefs started coming up. I don't know what it is now, but earlier this week, it was 78% of the money was on the Eagles.
That is interesting that the heavy money is on the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost hard to believe that much amount of money is on the Eagles.
Yeah,
and I get it. They're the new team. They're the young quarterback.
Yeah.
They're the fiery head coach. They're all that stuff, and they're going against the establishment of the Chiefs, Andy Reid, Mahomes. I mean, I get it. They're kind of the old guard now, and maybe people are just tired of seeing them win.
I think that's a very realistic possibility.
It might be Chiefs fatigue. Maybe that's what we're seeing on the text line right now because this is a Cowboys market, and we got Cowboys fans texting in saying that the Eagles are going to win, which is pretty odd in my estimation. 361-882-5397. Get your takes in on the text line. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. Our first look at Super Bowl 57. It is Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense, and in particular, the greatness of Patrick Mahomes and how good he's been over his career now. Something has got to give today. Check out this stat. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes led the NFL in passing yards during the regular season with 5,250. And the Eagles were the league's top passing defense, only giving up 179.8 passing yards allowed per game. So something's got to give, right? This is the third time the NFL passing leader has faced the NFL's top passing defense in the Super Bowl, and the top defense has won both of the previous matchups. Going back to Super Bowl 48, the Seahawks beat the Broncos. They beat the pants off of Peyton Manning. And then going back to Super Bowl 37, the Buccaneers won against the Raiders where they were just intercepting Rich Gannon like crazy.
Yeah, well, because John Gruden used to coach the Raiders before, and there was this conspiracy that Callahan was in on it, and then the Raiders center he was reportedly missing.
He went missing, yeah.
He had like a hangover or something like that, and he wasn't available.
But the interesting thing is this, though. League's leader in passer against the league's leading passing defense, and twice before the defense has won both times in blowout fashion. Is this a little bit weird? Is this a trend? Is it coincidence? Let's start with Marcos.
I mean, there is a reason why they say defense wins championships.
That's true.
In big games, they say the defensive line travels, the offensive line travels, and in this game, the Eagles are the only team, or in general, in NFL history, the Eagles are the only team with 4 double-digit sack rushers. That is crazy historic, and like you just provided the stats. I mean, defense does win championships, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be a really tough night for him.
Now, with that being said, right, you're talking about the pressure of Patrick Mahomes. One of the biggest questions for the Chiefs offense, ladies and gentlemen, is can the Chiefs protect Patrick Mahomes and his injured ankle? The Eagles, they lead the league in sacks by a wide margin, like you mentioned, Marcos, and usually they don't have to blitz to get their pressure.
Yeah.
They rank first in both pass rush win rate at 52% and sack rate 11%, along with fifth in pressure percentage at 33%. So if they could consistently pressure Mahomes with 4 guys, that's going to give the Eagles defense a chance to drop 7 and make things a lot more difficult for Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs passing attack.
One of my bold predictions for this game, and it may just because I have a slight bias for him, but Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I feel like is going to be a pretty big X factor for this.
Former Saints.
For this Eagles defense. I envision him getting a pick this game, at least one.
Wow.
I think he's going to be very key on that back end because he can play pretty much anywhere in the secondary. He can play safety, he can play boundary, he can play nickel. He can do it all. And I mean, it wasn't wrong when people were saying it was a steal of a trade. He is arguably the best nickel/safety in the league.
And you know what? He's probably going to spend a lot of his man coverage snaps on Travis Kelce.
Yes.
And the Eagles as a whole stopped tight ends to a bottom 5 reception rate. Excuse me, I had it stored back in the brain.
Yeah.
They had a bottom 5 reception rate for tight ends.
Yeah, but Kelsey's going to eat. I don't see Kelsey getting shut down at all in this game.
No, of course not. I mean, he's arguably the greatest tight end of all time.
And here's the thing: the last Super Bowl the Chiefs were in, they didn't have their offensive line, which proved to be just proved to be their downfall. All their offensive linemen are going to play. The worry for me, as far as the Chiefs are concerned, wait, let me play this back again, are the health of the receivers.
Yes.
Juju Smith-Schuster is expected to play, but he's going to be hobbled. Tony is going to be hobbled. I believe Hardman's going to be out.
Hardman is out. Confirmed out.
So that's my only worry. I think the Chiefs O-line, it's gonna be a stalemate. I feel like maybe the Eagles are gonna win more of their matchups. On the defensive line, considering look at Hassan Reddick and how awesome he's been this postseason. Throughout the entire season, Brandon Graham double-digit sacks, but I think what I expect the Chiefs are going to do, they're going to implement the short passing game. Either get to Jarrett McKinnon, even Pacheco out of the backfield, Kelsey dump off. That's how Brady won his Super Bowls. I expect a similar game plan.
You know what, man? You took the words right out of my mouth because the next point that I had here on my notes was how can the Chiefs stymie this Eagles pass rush is the quick, short passes. And you're right about that, Adin. There's going to be a lot of dump-offs. There's going to be a lot of, Travis Kelce in the flats, Travis Kelce over the middle type of deals. And I can see, along with you, Adin, I can see Travis Kelce having a big game. I am borderline on Travis Kelce for MVP today. I think he can have one of those explosive games, 7 receptions, 100-plus yards, a couple of touchdowns. I can really see this being a huge Travis Kelce eats type of game.
And then I usually follow the team's reporters that are in the postseason that they usually tweet about their team
in their market and whatnot.
And I look at the fans' comments, and they've been saying that their linebackers are a weak spot on that defense
For the Eagles.
Yes. TJ Edwards and Kazir White. So I expect the Chiefs. That's the weakness they're going to exploit. I expect they're going to go at them heavy.
So this season, Travis Kelce, he's lined up in the slot or wide on 63% of his snaps. That is the 4th highest rate of any tight end with at least 300 snaps. The Eagles tend to play off coverage, which serves them well downfield, but leaves them vulnerable underneath, like we've been saying. So there we go. Interesting right there. Interesting. It's going to be a pretty good game, man. I mean, I don't know what to think about it because usually the pass rush can win you the game. And we saw that a couple years back when the Bucs were just able to consistently pressure Mahomes and keep him in the pocket. But like Adin said, that's whenever the Chiefs' offensive line was just absolutely obliterated and the Bucs took advantage of that. Man, I don't think that's going to happen today. But the Eagles are really good. They are really good. And if the Chiefs can at least hold up a little bit, I think they can move the ball downfield. Maybe not so much with the chunk plays, fellas, but with the quick, short passing attack. 361-882-5397.
I mean, this is a completely revamped offensive line compared to several years ago. Orlando Brown, Creed Humphrey, can you take me higher?
I like that. I like that. Who do we see as being I know we're talking about Travis Kelce, but who else do you think could have a big game for the Chiefs offense?
Man. I mean, Mahomes, of course, is the big one. It's maybe a McKinnon you could see. It could be another one of those Super Bowl performances.
What about your favorite Chiefs receiver, Sky Moore?
This might be a Sky Moore game. Am I vindicated? Would I be vindicated if Sky Moore actually had himself a game?
Remember, for those listeners, James in Fantasy dropped Jarrett McKinnon, who absolutely went off for the co-champion Travis King, and kept Sky Moore.
And Chase Claypool.
Wasn't my
gosh,
best
that's
decision.
horrible.
Who do you think could be kind of a little bit of an X factor for the Chiefs today?
I think the two biggest X factors today are Orlando
Oh.
Brown, the left tackle, and Andrew Wiley, the right tackle.
Okay.
Andrew Wiley has struggled mightily at times in big moments, and Hassan Reddick lines up the majority of the time across the right tackle, and so I think they're gonna have to chip him. They're gonna have to slide the pressure to account for him. They're gonna have to make a lot of adjustments at the line of scrimmage because Hassan Reddick will feast.
He could be a game changer, man. He was a game changer last week. He was the one that was in on the hit that got Brock Purdy injured. Man.
Niners fans and players, it was y'all's fault why y'all lost that game. Niners, protect your quarterback, and it wouldn't have happened. Okay.
Yeah,
They've
okay.
been talking a lot of mess.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody talks mess from the sidelines, I guess. It is what it is.
Valdez-Scantling.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I forgot to say.
MVS.
Because he's caught a touchdown, and
Maybe
caught
he has a
touchdown
big
against
game.
the Jaguars and the Bengals.
Real quick before we go to break, and then we'll get, if we have some more points, we can make them in the next segment. But real quick before we go to break, I want to play the Patrick Mahomes audio from Super Bowl week. This is courtesy of 810 WHB up in Kansas City. Mahomes says that he doesn't want to have any regrets when he steps off the field today.
What I'm chasing is I never say I'm chasing a player. I'm chasing that I don't want to have any regrets when I step off this football field. And I understand how lucky I am to be in this organization. I understand how lucky I am to play with guys that are going to be Hall of Famers. And so when I look back at the end of my career, I don't want to look back and be like, man, I didn't give everything I have to win Super Bowls because of the great people I have around me. And so when I get done with my career, I just want to make sure that I know that I gave everything I had on that football field.
There it is.
No regrets.
No regrets, baby. Injured animal theory. According to George, injured animal theory for Patrick Mahomes today. And that wraps up our first look at Chiefs offense versus Eagles defense. We're going to take a quick break from Super Bowl talk because coming up next, an NBA record fell. All hail the king of NBA scoring, and there was 2 major trades made in the NBA. We'll get a quick NBA discussion, and then we'll jump right back into Super Bowl 57 coverage. Keep it locked right here to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the show. Super Bowl Sunday with your favorite guys, the Sunday Sports Rush crew, James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister. We're in the building with you till 11 a.m. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll take a look at the Eagles offense versus the Chiefs defense. We're covering the Super Bowl from all angles today. Super Bowl 57, and we are excited about that. Who's going to win the big game? 361-882-5397. Hit us up on the text line. Hit us up on our Twitter at SportsRush1440. We actually have a Twitter comment right here. This comes from Cruz. Cruz has been a good friend of ours, dating back to our bench warmers days. Cruz says, I hate the Eagles, but I have a steak lunch bet on them, LOL. He also goes on to say that McKinnon is the X factor for the Chiefs and will be the MVP if they pull it off. Interesting take. Okay. I could see McKinnon having a big game, Cruz, and I could see McKinnon being an X factor. And an X factor is typically someone who is kind of laying under the weeds a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily one of the big stars, not the Kelseys, not none of that. It's the guy you almost least expect. I think McKinnon could have a big game, and we could possibly see the McKinnon we saw towards the end of the regular season when he was producing touchdowns like no other, especially if the Chiefs are able to get that short passing attack out of the backfield and just below those secondary players right in the middle of the field. If they could get that going, I can see McKinnon having a big game. That's a good take for Cruz. 361-882-5397. Get a couple of more in real quick because you guys are hitting me up on the socials. Joe is in here. Joe says, I want the Eagles to win. I can't lie. Okay, another Eagles vote. Another Eagles take. Billy's also in here. Billy says, Eagles 34, Chiefs 30. Hurts has 3 touchdowns and 1 running. Okay, see, I'm telling you, everybody is riding the Eagles today.
It's crazy.
Here's the thing, like I said earlier, the Eagles do have a better team on paper, like throughout, but I mean, you can take it back. I know it's a different team, but the Chiefs went up into Santa Clara, absolutely lit up that Niners defense that was top 2 in the league. Like, just looked unstoppable, and that's just it's the possibility that it could be a shootout. That's the thing that you just can't. It's hard to. This is a really hard Super Bowl for me to pick.
It is. I mean, we read those stats at the beginning, right?
Like
they're equal in almost every single statistical category.
Like last year was easy for me. Well, I'm only going to call the score right, first of all.
I think last year I picked the Bengals.
Well, I picked the Rams 23-20, and I was right.
Well,
exactly. But this one's hard, man. I have to think about it.
If you have any takes, Super Bowl, hit us up on the text line. Who wins? Who's the MVP? Who's the X Factor? Bold takes, all that good stuff. 361-882-5397. We will continue Super Bowl talk here in a moment. Do you have something real quick, Marcos?
No, we're good.
All right, so we'll talk some more Super Bowl coming up at 10 a.m. Right now, we're going to dedicate a little bit of time to the NBA. LeBron James is your new scoring champion, Adin. We have the audio. LeBron breaks the record on Tuesday night. He did it. And here's the call from Brian Anderson of TNT.
Westbrook looking for James. He's got it. Coming to the end of the third quarter. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
What a call. Brian Anderson, TNT. Perfectly executed call. LeBron James goes up, hits a jumper. He passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points in NBA history. Just an incredible feat, man. And people can say what they want about LeBron James. He needed 36 points to do it, and he did it that night. He finished the night with 38 on 13 of 20 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3 to go along with 7 boards, 3 assists, and 3 steals. It's not like he was putting up chunk shots like the way Kobe did in his last game.
You don't have to do that.
Okay, I didn't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
But what I'm trying to say is that
the man's dead.
Okay,
dude.
okay, I'm sorry, but what I'm trying to say is that LeBron actually had an efficient scoring night. It wasn't like he was just throwing up shots to go for the record.
Well, he kind of was.
But it was efficient.
He was making them.
Exactly. It was efficient.
He was forcing
You know
stuff.
what's funny? I'm the one that's calling out James tonight. Yeah, I'm the one that brought up Chris Brown the Rihanna.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who hasn't said anything truly controversial yet, so I think I'm going to try and keep my record clean here.
Do it. So LeBron is the guy now, the new scoring champion. He passed Kareem. There was a great moment where, they stopped the game down and LeBron got to celebrate. Kareem handed him the game ball, and they gave a little hug. It was kind of like a ceremonial passing of the torch. Kareem, of course, Laker. LeBron did it as a Laker.
Kareem didn't look too happy.
Yeah, we talked about that. He
struggling.
really looked kind of sad, and it was kind of hard to watch in a way.
Kareem and LeBron have had their differences in the past.
Yeah.
With certain social issues out there. And
I mean, they're on the same coin. It's just that Kareem he's more of like a classy guy, as you could say. He doesn't like some of LeBron's antics. I mean, not that LeBron isn't classy. I mean,
yeah,
he does well for the community off the court, but
on the court, I wouldn't say he's
year 20, year 38. The longevity of LeBron James. Look, if you told me whenever that Sports Illustrated magazine came out 20-some years ago, and it labeled him as the chosen one, if you told me 20 years later he'd still be playing, if you told me 20 years later he'd be the all-time NBA's leading scorer, I think LeBron James has lived up to the hype that was put on him. Because you got to think about it from that perspective. When he was labeled the chosen one as a high schooler, no one would have thought that 20 years later he'd be in this position. Yes, he's had his little downfalls in the finals. I get it. I understand that. He's not undefeated in the finals like Jordan, but he has led one of the greatest finals comebacks of all time. He has had clutch game 7s in the NBA finals. He did it against the Spurs in 2013 where he went off.
I mean, he's like top 3 all time.
He's
for sure.
top 3 all time, but in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I choose him over Jordan. I think he's a better basketball player than Jordan. I think Jordan, though, probably a better shooter, probably a better leader, probably, he just had that it factor. But I think LeBron James does more on the court physically than Jordan ever did.
I mean, I think this is going to be a sports debate that truly never ends.
The test of time.
It will never end.
The test of time.
I mean, it's the same thing with tennis too. Like you have those three goats. It's a never-ending debate. My favorite, what I loved about that night though, was that after the whole 5-10 minute celebration, the Lakers got waxed by the Thunder.
They still lost, and you know what? It would have been nice if they would have won, but that is what it is. Marcos, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that really kind of blew my mind, it was not really the ESPN games of his ESPN coverage of his high school games or his magazine covers, but I saw recently somebody asked the age-old questions of what are the most unbreakable sports records ever, and it was Wayne Gretzky's points record, it was Nolan Ryan's strikeout record, etc. And I remember so vividly, maybe 5-10 years ago, people were on those lists was Kareem's scoring record.
Yeah.
Saying that it was one of the most unbreakable records in sports, and we just saw it broken.
And you know what? I mean, LeBron might play 2-3 more years. Who knows? That the numbers are just going to go up. LeBron is averaging 27 points a game at year 20, age 38.
I just want to see him as Laker anymore. Go to a team that hasn't won a championship that actually cares about winning.
Well,
go to the Nuggets or Grizzlies or something like that. Or Suns.
It's likely going to come down to wherever his son goes.
Yeah,
possibly.
Is that going to be the Lakers? Who knows?
The West is insane right now, guys.
Yeah.
And I know we only have a couple minutes left, but Kyrie to the Mavs, absolute insanity. KD to the Suns. The West is stacked right now, and since I am a new owner of NBA League Pass, which I forked out $40 for the remainder of the year, I was like, F it, I'm doing it. It's basketball season now. I've been watching a lot of Mavs, and I saw the Mavs these past couple of days against the Kings. Man, they are so much more fun to watch now with Kyrie. And last night was Kyrie and Luka's debut together. Even though they lost in overtime to the Kings in Sacramento, which was a hell of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Those two on the court together, it was scary. Yeah. Christian Wood looks good on that team. They have shooters. Man, the West is going to be wild, and going forward, talking basketball, it's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, and that Kings team is very young and very improved. That's a good basketball team. Hey, they play with a lot of energy.
They got DeMontis Sabonis. They got De'Aaron Fox. They got a lot. They got the Keegan Murray kid, the rookie. They have a great young squad led by Mike Brown.
Yeah, as long as the Lakers and Warriors don't win, I'm content.
You know what? I think the Lakers are going to make a playoff run, actually. They just got D'Angelo Russell, and I think that's huge for
And they
them.
got a couple of other nice additions to their team as well.
Yeah,
Malik Beasley, I believe.
He's good. Yeah.
He can shoot.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't think you heard about the reports of LeBron's ankle.
He's been injured.
Doesn't look good, and they do look improved. I see them going from 13 seed to 11 seed. So
11th, if they can get to 10th, they'll make the play-in. We'll see what happens, and that's going to be our NBA discussion. When we come back, we'll continue our Super Bowl coverage. Hour 2 is on the way. It's the Americana Arms Studio. You're listening to News Talk KUIS Corpus Christi. Hour 2 coming up. Stick. Good morning, Corpus Christi Coastal Bend listeners worldwide. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Sunday Sports Rush. It's Super Bowl Sunday on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM, episode 105, Super Bowl Sunday. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker.
Cougars, I love Cougars.
Alex Weister in the building, and Marcos Marroquin. The whole squad is with you for this Super Bowl Sunday, this super edition of the Sports Rush. With you for one more hour till 11 a.m. Hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Let us know who wins today's big game, Chiefs or Eagles. And we're going to go to the text line right now. We got a text from Sam. Sam is in here. Sam says, as much as I wish both teams could lose, I'm calling Eagles by a large margin, 34-13. Wow. The talent is so lopsided in this matchup. The Eagles have the better offense, defense, and health is on their side with the exception of Lane Johnson. Casey has a banged-up Mahomes and Chris Jones as their anchors for this matchup. Casey is pretty banged up. Signed, Sam. P.S. You missed another great opportunity, Jerry Jones. Take notes and humble yourself. Wow. Hot takes from Sam. Sam says that the Eagles talent is lopsided in this matchup. Do we agree with
know
this?
Not really.
You know what? I don't dislike that take. I don't think it's to the extent that Sam is saying, but I don't completely dislike it. I mean, if you look at it on paper, the Eagles the Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL.
That's
they
a
have
fact.
the best defensive line in the NFL.
Up for debate.
Games are won in the trenches. I don't know if it really is up for debate. They have a historic defense. They led the league in sacks this year.
70 sacks, yes.
70 sacks. They're probably going to break the single season plus playoff sack record in this game, depending on how many sacks. I don't know what the exact number is. I can't find it.
I would go more
Anyways.
for Eagles defense as a whole is the more talented from top to bottom. I know the 49ers were the number one defense statistically, but when you look at their individual talent by talent, it doesn't stack up to the
I
Eagles.
think it's just the run game of Nick Sirianni is just almost unstoppable, especially with the level of talent on that offensive line.
And it's also with a running back who's not established. Well, any of the running backs. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell, he's fairly young. Miles Sanders is just breaking into his own. And then Boston Scott's always been like a third-string running back.
Yeah, but, they work them in each very well.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is such a threat with his feet. I was watching some of the All-22 film, and Fred Warner was stuck in cement because he had to read Jalen Hurts, and every time there was a read option play or any time that there was any running play in general, Jalen Hurts would hold it on like if it was a read option. And Fred Warner was stuck in cement. He couldn't move because he has to stay on Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts has done that to the best linebackers. He put Micah Parsons on skates a few times whenever they played on that Sunday Night Football matchup back in Week 6, where Micah was caught in between. Should I cover the running back or should I cover Hurts? And Micah didn't know what to do. Jalen Hurts can do that to good linebackers. I can see Jalen Hurts having a really good game against this Chiefs defense. And you know what, Sam? That take was that was a good, solid take. It sparked up some discussion, and I don't necessarily disagree with Sam. I do think that the Eagles are just as talented. I won't say by a lopsided margin, but there's a reason why they're the number one seed and they were 14-3, just like the way the Chiefs are. And go ahead, Adin.
But here's another thing, though. I guess when are we going to talk about the Chiefs defense? And
Right
Eagles
now,
offense?
right
We're
now.
doing it
Let's
Okay.
transition Eagles offense versus Chiefs defense right now. We're continuing our Super Bowl breakdown. Eagles offense, Chiefs defense. Sam's text kind of led us into this. Pretty good right there. Go ahead, Adin. I know you had something to say.
Here's the thing about the Chiefs defense. They've played very stout this postseason.
Yeah.
They limited the Jaguars, and they forced a couple turnovers in the end of the game that proved to be the difference. But they limited, I believe, 17 or no, to 20. And then the Bengals. I know they had their chunk plays here and there, but the Chiefs are playing with rookies in the back end due to injuries. And they were able to get a couple turnovers on Joe Burrow. And honestly, they kind of stymied that Bengals defense. I know they gave up 20, but considering the factors, I thought they did a damn good job.
Now, one of the matchups that you're going to want to watch today during Super Bowl 57, listeners out there, Jalen Hurts this season has struggled against the blitz. Hurts has recorded the 6th lowest success rate against the blitz, 39.2% this season, including the playoffs, and defense have been exploiting that area, blitzing him at the 4th highest rate of any quarterback, 33.9%. And whenever this does happen, sometimes you see this young quarterback revert back to some of his old bad habits. When defenses send extra pass rushers, tends to hold onto the ball a little bit longer and bailing from the pocket quicker. Now, Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo has dialed back his blitzing this season. He still calls cover 0 at one of the highest rates in the NFL, but the Chiefs were effective on blitzes this season with the 5th largest increase in pressure rate when sending at least 5 pass rushers. So, Steve Spagnuolo's defense against Jalen Hurts, will they blitz him? Will they force Hurts to play a little bit more quarterback? What's going to be the deal, Alex? What do you think?
I don't think that they can, because what is the best aspect of the Eagles' passing game? It's the short game. A.J. Brown is a monster in the short game. If they're blitzing, he's most likely going to be open because the corners for the Chiefs are their weak spot on that defense. And so those corners are going to be struggling against the likes of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. It's just a fact. because we've seen corners all season struggle against them on some of the best defenses.
You're right, man. And it's like you have a copy of my notes right in front of you, but you don't. You're just going off the top of your brain.
As some would say, I know ball.
Here's the thing.
I love that. Go ahead.
Here's the thing that I'm looking at. Jalen Hurts, when he's had to have can't even talk. When he's had to need to use his arm, he's been inaccurate this postseason. It's been more the running game of the Eagles that dominated the Giants, that dominated the Niners. Say the Chiefs actually play stout in that end. Say Chris Jones and Willie Gay and Frank Clark and say they actually, Spagnuolo. We've seen them dial up game plans before to limit opposing offenses in the postseason. Say they actually need to force Jalen Hurts to throw. And I know he has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. He has weapons to throw to.
He has a hell of a trio right there.
And I like Jalen Hurts. But is he going to make those throws late in the game that he needs to in order to win this game? We saw 3 years ago when the Chiefs made that comeback against the Niners. Jimmy G needed to make some throws to win, and he wasn't able to do it. Can Jalen Hurts do it?
That's the big question.
I feel like there's going to be a moment in time where it has to happen.
That's a big question right there, and something that's going to have to be seen on the field.
And I think the best defense that the Kansas City Chiefs defense can play is getting some support from their offense. They need that room, because if the Eagles get out to a lead, I do not have faith that this Kansas City Chiefs could stop that Eagles run game.
Ooh, that is a good one. That's also one of my other little matchups I have on my notes is the Eagles running game against the Chiefs light defensive personnel. So the Eagles, they've won 20 straight games when entering the fourth quarter with a lead, and that's for a reason, because of that running game, because of that powerful offensive line and their ability to milk the clock and move the chains. And during the playoffs, the Chiefs have been using a lighter box to help defend the pass, but it's at the expense of the run game. The Chiefs have used dime personnel, so that's an extra defensive back in the game. They essentially take out one linebacker, replace him with a defensive back. They've used dime personnel on 35% of postseason snaps. That is up from 23% in the regular season, and that is to help those young cornerbacks that they have. So can the Eagles take advantage of that?
You know what? Like I've said a couple times, and I probably sound like a broken record, but good offensive lines travel. They travel, and they travel well. And this Eagles offensive line is one of the best. Seeing their run scheme with Nick Sirianni, he has done wonders for that Eagles offense. They were one of the worst teams in the NFL just a couple years ago.
We have Jalen Hurts audio from Super Bowl Media Week, and Jalen Hurts, he's a guy that I'm growing to respect a lot more. I know he's an Eagle. I know as a Cowboys fan, personally, I cannot stand the Philadelphia Eagles.
You can't stand Sirianni.
I cannot stand Sirianni, but I am growing respect for Jalen Hurts. And personally, I don't dislike Jalen Hurts. I actually like him as a player, and he seems like a good dude. Here's Jalen Hurts talking about he has a purpose. Here's Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl Media Day.
Everything that I want to do is just quantify my work. Just quantify the work that I put in. I don't really like to look at the results. Never like to look at the results, just the process of getting better. It's truly, you can look back and say that there are so many things that can motivate me and drive me to want more and to be the best. And why do I just keep getting up and going and going and going? But I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion. It's not about anybody else. I know y'all like that one.
That was good, man. I like what he's saying.
Yeah.
He wants to quantify the results. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to show it. He sounds like a well-put-together young man, and I can see why he has taken the lead of this Philadelphia Eagles locker room. He sounds like a leader. He looks like a leader. He carries himself like a leader. He has the swagger like a leader. I really do like Jalen Hurts, man, and if the Eagles were to win the Super Bowl today and Jalen Hurts were to get that ring, I don't think I'd be mad. I don't think I'd be upset. I'd just clap my hands and say, congratulations, job well done, young man. That's the kind of dude he is, and I don't know. I've grown a lot more. I like him a lot more than I did at the beginning of the season, if that makes sense. His play has showed it. His words have showed it. and his demeanor. And I just find him he's one of the players who I enjoy watching the most.
Yeah, I mean, people hate on the Eagles and the Eagles fans a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why this fan base loves this team so much. It embodies that city, or at least their view of that city so well.
Yes.
They're hard-nosed. They grind out wins, They play with a lot of energy, and they play with a lot of heart. And it's really hard to not respect that.
And that's why I'm so okay with people wanting to hate on Sirianni, because he embodies the team. It doesn't matter
Yes.
if he's not the greatest coach ever. It doesn't matter if the team was going to be good with or without him. It's the fact that they found a coach that is basically an Eagles fan with a headset on.
Yeah.
He is the perfect embodiment of the city, the team, and everything they stand for. And if I had a coach like that, I would love it too, because he is everything the city of Philadelphia is and wants to be.
Want me to play that audio with Sirianni?
Which one?
We're Philly, a great town.
I actually wanted to save that because
You wanna save
coming
it?
up at 10:30, we're going to talk Andy Reid versus Sirianni, and I got some Sirianni notes, and I wanted to play the audio at 10:30 for that.
The Andy Reid.
Yeah, and then we'll talk some X factors and all that. But hey, it's Eagles offense, Chiefs defense. I felt like we broke that down pretty well, guys. Nice little discussion right there. Who wins the Super Bowl is the question of the day here on the Sports Rush. 361-882-5397. Hit us up on the text line for your takes. Hit us up on social media at Sports Rush 1440. Let us know who wins Super Bowl 57, Eagles or Chiefs. Who's your MVP? Give us some bold takes. We're taking them all the way till 11 a.m. Coming up next, we have some NFL headlines, some more Super Bowl notes to get to, and the Hall of Fame class was announced for the NFL's 2023 class. We'll dive into who made it, including a couple of Dallas Cowboys. Keep it locked. You're listening to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush, episode 105. Super Bowl Sunday with your favorite guys here in the morning. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Marcos Marroquin, and Alex Weister. We're with you till 11 a.m. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll take a look at our Super Bowl X Factors, and we'll also look at the coaching matchup between Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. We'll do that in 10 minutes. We're still taking your predictions for Super Bowl Sunday. Who's going to win the big game, Chiefs or Eagles? And let me get to a couple of little notes right here. Y'all guys have been weighing in on my Facebook, on my Twitter. I appreciate y'all guys getting in on the socials. Much appreciated. Make sure to text in as well, 361-882-5397. Andres is in here. Andres says, Chiefs, Maine. I don't really have any in-depth analysis why, other than I just believe in Mahomes and Reid, and I can't stomach another Philly Super Bowl. Signed Andres. Got you down, my guy. Spoken like a true Cowboys fan right there. He cannot stomach another Eagles Super Bowl. All right. Appreciate y'all guys getting in. Let's do a couple of more here real quick. We got Steve in here. Steve says, Eagles. Destriana's in here. She says, Chiefs by a touchdown. Like that. And Norma's in here. She also says Chiefs. So there we go. Hit us up. Hit me up on Facebook. Search James Espinosa. Hit us up on Twitter at SportsRush1440 or hit us up on the text line 361-882-5397. Get your takes in here right now, though. It's time to talk a little bit of NFL headlines. Let's go ahead and do that. NFL headlines. The class of 2023 was announced for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and it was a defensive-led class. And you know what's so weird about this is I remember all these guys. Majority of all these guys I saw play. That's how you know you're getting old, is when the Pro Football Hall of Fame classes start to come out and you actually have seen the majority of these players. So in the Hall of Fame, coming up to be inducted will be Rondé Barber, cornerback for the Bucks.
He should have been a Hall of Famer years ago.
He was really damn good, man.
He was.
Really good. Very underrated, but obviously getting his due right now.
Most notable for his performance against the Eagles in the 0-2 NFC Championship
Did he have
game.
a pick six in that game?
Pick six, I
yes.
think he had another pick, but completely just dominated that Eagles offense.
Really good
Basically
cornerback.
by himself.
Head coach Don Coryell, who was the founder of West Coast offense. Eric Coryell, Cardinals coach in the 70s and Chargers coach in the late 70s and mid 80s. We got linebacker and Dallas Cowboy Chuck Howley. Played with the Cowboys from 1961 to 1973. And fun fact about Chuck Howley, he is still the only losing player to be named Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl V against the Baltimore Colts.
So basically how that occurred was that it was the worst played Super Bowl by both offenses.
No, for real. Historically speaking.
I know the Rams and Patriots a few years ago was pretty ugly, but the Colts turned the ball over 7 times, and the Cowboys had 10 penalties on offense on their own team, and they just had to give it to somebody who played the best on defense.
Crazy, exactly. Joe Klecko, defensive tackle, Jets and Colts in the 70s and 80s. He's in.
The New York Stock Exchange, I believe.
Yeah.
With Mark Gastineau and whatnot.
Darrell Revis. Revis Island is in. Darrell Revis.
There you go.
2007 to 2017, of course, known for his Jets stints. Had a couple of stops for coffee with the Bucks, Patriots, and Chiefs towards the end of his career, but Revis Island is in. That's obvious.
Yeah, that was,
I don't think
no doubt.
maybe Stephon Gilmore a couple of years with the Patriots, but we haven't seen a true shutdown corner that just puts you on an island since.
Just clamps.
Yes.
I mean, he won the Super Bowl with the Patriots, the 2014, but he played his best years as a Jet his first stint, and he was absolutely dominant. It helped them get to 2 AFC title games.
Yeah. Couple more to get to here. Ken Riley, quarterback for the Bengals in the late 60s. Cornerback for the Bengals, late 60s, early 80s. Congrats to him.
Played in the first Super Bowl against the Niners.
Joe Thomas, left tackle for the Browns, 2007 to 2017. Joe Thomas, first ballot Hall of Famer. I think we're all in agreement.
Well, somebody in here.
He was that Lamborghini in that that picture that Lambo in that shed of a house.
Yes.
A bunch
That was
of
him.
bad Browns teams he was on. But
Never made the playoffs.
He had an opportunity to be traded to the Broncos the year they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the deal fell through.
Last two guys. Zach Thomas, linebacker, Dolphins, 96 to 07, and he played his final season with the Cowboys in 2008. I think that's great. Zach Thomas, also a Texas Tech Red Raider. It's pretty awesome. He was a good linebacker.
He was a great linebacker.
Yeah, he was.
I think what hurt him is that he played on a lot of mid to bad Dolphins teams, so he never really got the national recognition he deserved.
There's some breaking news out of the Texans camp. Bobby Slowick has just got hired as their offensive coordinator.
Wow. Bobby Slowick, was he the 49ers passing game coordinator?
He was the 49ers assistant.
Wow. I like that for the Texans a lot, man.
You're right.
I like that a lot. That's a good note right there.
And
Good
he
note.
actually started off in the NFL as a defensive assistant. So he's got both sides of the ball.
So, okay. Well, obviously, D'Amico bringing him over, probably really good friends from their 49ers days, and now he's going to be the offensive coordinator. So expect a lot of 49ers style offense with that Texans team. Going back to the Hall of Fame, last but not least, DeMarcus Ware, Dallas Cowboy from 05 to 13, Denver Bronco and Super Bowl champion with the Broncos. He played with them from 14 to 16.
I think he's the leading star in this Hall of Fame
He
class.
is he's the poster child for this class in my opinion, and one of the greatest pass rushers in NFL history.
For sure.
Ware is 9th all-time in sacks with 138.5. And he led the league in that category twice. Won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, as I mentioned, of course. So there we go.
I know Von Miller got a lot of praise for his performance in that postseason, but DeMarcus Ware was just as dominant.
He had a sack. He had a couple sacks.
Two sacks against the Panthers.
Did he? Yeah, he did.
He actually had more hits on Tom Brady than Von Miller did in that AFC title game. It was a joy to watch.
It was.
That game was amazing.
I'm so glad he got out of that Cowboys black abyss and
seeing Brady just
went to go win a Super Bowl.
Get absolutely battered and sacked on his ass repeatedly was a joy to watch.
More notes. The Saints guys made notes this week. They were the first team to meet with Derek Carr. How do you feel about that, Alex, resident Saints fan?
I've already made this well known to you guys. I'm all for it. The asking price isn't huge. From what I've seen, it's only a second or third rounder, and I would be willing to give that up. He's shown that he can be an average to above average quarterback, and we don't really have a plan for quarterback going ahead.
If you put Derek Carr on the Saints right now,
Yes.
and you look at the rest of the NFC South with the Panthers quarterback situation in flux, who's going to be the quarterback in Tampa?
Yeah.
You got, Mariota and Riddler with the Falcons. Ritter with the Falcons. Nothing's set in stone there.
Mm-hmm.
You drop Derek Carr on the Saints right now, he's the best quarterback in the NFC South.
Yes.
And I think he makes the Saints at least a division contender. Like, they could win that division with Derek Carr as their quarterback.
They should be looking at playoffs.
Exactly.
Probably 8 wins. It's going to be the same division as last year, just the Saints.
Yeah, but Derek Carr being a better quarterback than everybody else in that division at least gets them into contention to win that division and probably make the playoffs.
I could see them swapping the Bucs records and win the division 8-9. Dennis Allen is a crap coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Alex
Why are you saying I'm sorry? I agree. He's horrid.
Go ahead, Marcos.
I have no idea what the Raiders' thought process on this is.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to take the cap hit, but acting like Jimmy Garoppolo is such a huge upgrade because I know he's like, there's reports that they really are looking to get Jimmy Garoppolo. I do not know how that is some major upgrade that is going to make them contenders.
They might be I think they're still slightly in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
Derek Carr has shown to be a pretty good quarterback at times. Yeah. He has a great arm, and obviously he had a down year, but he's shown to be a great quarterback. He's their all-time passing leader.
Exactly. So that's going to wrap up NFL headlines, and when we come back, we'll talk some more Super Bowl. We're going to give our X factors. We're going to look at the coaching matchup, and we're going to make our official Super Bowl predictions. Keep it locked. You're listening to the Sunday Sports Rush. Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Rush. It's Super Bowl Sunday. All the boys are with you. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, Alex Weister, and Marcos Marroquin. We got about 30 minutes left in the show. And thank you guys for being with us on this big show, episode 105, Super Bowl Sunday, Eagles and Chiefs. Yeah, I like that jam right there, Adin. That's some good stuff. Let's get to some more predictions here. We got Dominic in here. He's on my Facebook post. Dominic says, Eagles 37, Chiefs 34. MVP, I'll go with Hurts. Bold take is that one team will have a pick six. Okay.
That's a very realistic possibility.
I like that. Look, a high-scoring game, a close competitive game. Give me that all day over a Super Bowl blowout.
Yeah.
Just give me something.
I think it'll be close.
Give me a close game entering the fourth quarter, and I'll be happy.
Yes.
Even if it's a 14-point win at the end of the fourth quarter, if we're at least going into the fourth with something on the line, I'm good. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm locked in.
You shouldn't be looking forward to the halftime show because the game sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, Rihanna will be on the halftime show. So for those of y'all who like that, enjoy that. That will probably be the time where I step outside for a quick minute. Another quick Super Bowl note to get to that I think is worth mentioning. This is according to ESPN.com's Adam Schefter. Sources say that Vic Fangio has been helping the Eagles with Super Bowl preparation on a 2-week deal. According to these sources, Vic Fangio signed a 2-week contract with the Eagles after Philadelphia beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. So rather than pack up for his move to Miami, Fangio spent the past 2 weeks in Arizona at the Philadelphia team hotel helping the Eagles coaches and players get ready for the Chiefs. More specifically, he assisted the offensive staff in their self-scouting process and supplied knowledge of the Chiefs' defense that he faced twice a year while he was the head coach of the Broncos from 2019 to 2021. Damn, bro, this is like 4D chess.
I think that's huge.
I
think that's huge.
It is.
That's 4D chess from the Eagles, and I waxed poetic last week on Jeffrey Lurie, on Howie Roseman, on Nick Sirianni, and how the Eagles front office just always seems to be a few steps ahead lately than everybody else. And this is just another move right here that proves my point. You bring in one of the most coveted defensive minds in the game just for 2 weeks to help you prepare and help you crack the code that is the Chiefs offense. Like I said, this is freaking 4D chess.
I think if for any reason, if anyone was worried that the Eagles wouldn't come to this game ready, this alone should settle that for you.
Absolutely.
This shows that they're coming ready to play. They are not messing around at all.
Yeah.
Bringing in an extra coach, basically an extra defensive coordinator, or someone self-scouting or whatever they put it as. That is legit stuff.
Since he is contractually tied to Philadelphia during this period, Fangio would receive a Super Bowl ring if the Eagles beat the Chiefs on Sunday, which would mark the first ring of his decorated coaching career.
I think it'd be deserved, to be honest.
That's crazy, man. That is wild. That is such a wild story that just broke a few moments ago. Super Bowl Sunday, we're here. 361-882-5397. Get your final takes in. Who wins the Super Bowl? Who do you got being Super Bowl MVP, bold takes, etc.? All right, let's go ahead and dive into our topic at hand. Andy Reid versus Nick Sirianni. 64-year-old Andy Reid wrapping up his 24th season as an NFL head coach. 41-year-old Nick Sirianni is finishing up year 2. That 22-season head coaching gap will go down as the largest in Super Bowl history. Will experience factor into the outcome of today's game? Interesting note, Sirianni was the holdover Chiefs wide receivers coach when Reid took over in 2013. Reid let Sirianni go because he was bringing longtime assistant head coach / wide receivers coach David Culley with him. But Sirianni said
Coach Dave.
he always respected that Reid took the time to call him into his office and explain face-to-face the reasons behind his decision. And now they meet in the Super Bowl. It's crazy. Time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
Like
you know what I mean? We
Okay, let's not go down that road again.
Calm down, Kyrie. Let's this matchup. I mean, how do we feel about this? How do we feel about Andy Reid? How do we feel about Nick Sirianni? Who wants to take a crack at this one first?
I got it.
Go for it.
Andy Reid is one of the best coaches of all time.
Yes.
And his offensive system is quite literally legendary.
And one of a kind.
It was literally one of a kind. And he has one of the most, if not the most talented quarterback of all time at his
Disposal.
Yes.
Yeah.
The X factor of all X factors in Patrick Mahomes.
100%.
Now, one of the things you're going to have to watch out today when it comes to Sirianni versus Andy Reid is Sirianni's willingness to gamble more on fourth downs. When it comes to maximizing possessions, the Eagles have a clear-cut advantage. Sirianni made the optimal decision to go for it on 21 of 27 fourth down opportunities this season, 77.8%, the highest rate in the league. While Reid made the optimal decision to go for it on only 7 of 26 fourth downs this season. That's 26.9%, the second lowest in the NFL. On 4th and 1 situations where go was the optimal decision, Sirianni was a perfect 11 for 11.
Yeah, he represents very much the new style coaching of, we're going to go for it.
Exactly. And that's going to be fascinating to see today, especially how the Eagles are able to line up in that sort of rugby style-esque quarterback sneak for Jalen Hurts, which has practically been unstoppable.
And when you have
season.
Jason Kelsey as your center, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aiden, you want to weigh in back there on Sirianni versus Andy Reid?
I mean, this is the Andy Reid used to be a longtime Eagles coach.
Yeah.
Is Andy Reid going to actually help the Eagles win a Super Bowl?
Wow. Time
think about
management.
that.
Sometimes time management can escape Andy Reid a little bit. He's been famously known for his time management, indecisiveness at times.
And, obviously, Nick Sirianni's second year. We don't know what's in store for him. Obviously, the future is bright in terms of him and the Eagles, but Andy Reid, I consider Andy Reid and then Belichick are the two best coaches in the league, or in terms of their storied history and whatnot, and what Andy Reid has brought to the table. But honestly, I feel, and I know it doesn't take away with Nick Sirianni. He's done a wonderful job. Him and his defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. I believe the Chiefs are slightly better coached just because they don't have as much talent throughout as the Eagles do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spagnuolo, he's a two-time defensive coordinator, Super Bowl champion as a defensive coordinator. So he and Spagnuolo's doing a wonderful job considering the pieces that they don't have on the back end for the Chiefs defense. And so I do give the coaching edge probably to the Chiefs.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
fair.
I would have to say so as well.
Just because of experience. Man.
That's fair. And, Andy Reid's been there. He's done that. I mean, they are experienced.
People forget Eric Bieniemy works hand in hand with him to game prep. They even say that he calls some plays and he has just as much input as Andy Reid does in the offense.
You know what's so weird about the Eric Bieniemy thing is that, for one, right, he hasn't got that head coaching job like everybody has been saying.
Don't think he wants one.
And number two,
I think he does.
Number two, he's rumored to be the Commanders' next offensive coordinator.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it doesn't make sense, but
if you're gonna, I think that a lot of people were talking about that. But if you're gonna be an offensive coordinator, why not stay where you've been and continue to prove? Because the biggest question was, can he do it without Andy Reid? Can he call plays?
well, I think that's why
But-
that's why he wants to leave Andy Reid.
But there's a report that came out recently that's saying he does call plays, and Andy Reid. I think there was a source that said that Andy Reid says that they work on it together and they game plan together. And Eric Bieniemy is actually in Patrick Mahomes' ear at points throughout the game.
I believe it, man. And look, I
Yeah.
think he's a good play caller, but at the same time, I can definitely see him wanting to get out of Andy Reid's shadow and go to another team and prove that his offensive schemes can work there as well. And then maybe people will finally say, oh, he did it in Washington. So, he definitely deserves to be a head coach now.
I just don't understand, though, like, the NFL's hired plenty of Andy Reid's assistants. I don't know why Bieniemy's the
Well,
black
anyways,
sheep.
let's go back to the topic at hand. And I wanted to play this Andy Reid clip because at Super Bowl Media Day, things can get kind of crazy. And they asked Andy Reid his opinion on the top 3 rappers alive. And here's Andy Reid's top 3 rappers.
The top 3 rappers alive. Put this up.
Well,
Coach.
Do the Fat Boys count as one rapper?
No.
All right. Jay-Z. Shoot, I don't know. I'm missing Master P. Yeah, I'm giving you all the old ones, but yeah, I'll take Lil Wayne. Wasn't he just at our place? Who was just at our place? You got to give me an easier question than that, doggone.
So there we go. Just some funny audio right there. I like how the guy in the background was like Meek Mills. It's Meek Mill, dude, not Mills.
I like the Master P shot. I don't think he's the best rapper, but
now let's go ahead and play Nick Sirianni's audio because, and the funny thing about this Nick Sirianni audio clip, it comes from the NFL Network, and Michael Irvin actually interviewed him. Michael Irvin was the one standing right next to him with a microphone. Michael Irvin's also kind of in a little bit of trouble. Allegedly had a inappropriate, I don't even know what to say, just an inappropriate moment with a lady at a hotel. Allegedly.
Well,
But
was Michael Irvin coherent in this interview?
Yes, he was.
Okay, good.
And so Nick Sirianni is going on and on about how Philadelphia is the greatest sports town in America. And you can hear Nick Sirianni and just how much he definitely belongs in Philadelphia. Play it.
I live and coach in the greatest sports town in America. It means so much to everybody there. That's what you want, right? When you're a little kid playing in a peewee football game, you're like, where's everybody? I want them to see us. I want them to see everything that we have to offer them, right? That's what you want. You want your fans to love it. You want your fans to be there. You want them to be wearing green on Friday. You want them to be wearing green on Saturday. You want them to be throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. You want that because that's what we want. We want to be able to put our talents on display, and we're able to do that in the greatest sports town in America. I was able to go to a couple of Phillies games. I didn't get to go to the World Series, but a couple playoff games. And I just love the fact that my kids are growing up in such a great sports town where football means so much, because football means so much to me.
There we go. You can hear him, man. He loves Philadelphia. And you know what's the funny thing about that is he was talking about the Philadelphia Eagles fans, right, and how passionate they were. And Michael Irvin was the one who was interviewing him. Let's not forget that the Philadelphia fans were the ones that booed Michael Irvin as he was leaving on a stretcher when he broke his neck and played his last ever game in the NFL. let's not forget the Philadelphia Eagles fans were those same people. I just thought it was so funny that Michael Irvin was the one interviewing him, and then Nick Sirianni is waxing poetic about how great the fans are when they booed Michael Irvin with a broken freaking neck.
Everything comes full circle.
That's right.
I mean,
that's kind of crazy, right? That's kind of crazy. But
they're savages, man.
They are, and it's gonna be a good game today. So we'll see what happens with that.
Did you see?
We're gonna. Are you talking about the breaking news?
No, it's just that there was that Chiefs fan that did the flag on the Rocky Balboa statue.
I honestly think this is like planned at this point. I think this is Eagles I think this is honestly Eagles propaganda.
Probably.
This happens every single playoff series, every single game, like every single big time game.
This is definitely Eagles deep state.
I think it is.
Reminds
It's Eagles
me
propaganda.
Of the Ravens, whenever the Broncos and Pats and I think even the Niners, they have Ray Lewis retirement party billboards, and the Ravens would win afterwards.
So what we're gonna do here is this. We didn't get to our predictions this segment. Well, we have one more segment left. So we'll give you our predictions then, and we also have some news to share with you. Some breaking news coming up here on the Sunday Sports Rush. So make sure you stick around. One more segment left with you. Keep it locked. Back to the Sunday Sports Rush News Talk KEYS Super Bowl 57. And it is our Super Sunday Show, episode 105. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker, and Marcos Marroquin with you. Alex Weister had to step out. He had to dip a little bit early, a little bit busy today. But before he left, I did get his take on who's going to win the Super Bowl, and we'll get to that here in a quick second. I got Ryan L. on the text line. This has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. It goes back to our Texas and OU discussion, but Ryan L. is a good friend of the show, and I want to get his take in on the air. Ryan says, I'm glad you mentioned the last Texas and Texas A&M game, LOL. The Aggies didn't have running back Cyrus Gray, and it was Ben Molina's very first start. Ready to see the rivalry restored. Ryan is an Aggie fan.
Well, to be fair, UT fans have wanted to see the rivalry restored for years now. So
well, hey, I cannot wait, and that is good that is going to be happening. So shout out Ryan for getting in. If you have final takes on who's going to win Super Bowl 57, make sure you get them in right now. Javi's in here. Javi says he has the Eagles winning, and then we have Joel in here. Joel says, I'll throw a prediction as well, 34-27 Eagles. So there we go. A lot of people feeling the Eagles today. I believe, Adin, we have some breaking news.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
The Colts are planning to hire offensive coordinator Shane Steichen of the Eagles today. Well, not today, but whenever the Super Bowl is over and everything like that and it gets processed. But yes, the Colts have informed other candidates that they're planning to go in a different direction, and apparently it's been every other candidate than Shane Steichen.
So Steichen, Eagles offensive coordinator, is going to be the new Indianapolis Colts head coach.
As long as both sides finalize and agree to terms.
Interesting.
According to Adam Schefter.
What if the Eagles lay an absolute egg, and then it's like,
And there's also another rumor that Marcos brought up to me off air that Jonathan Gannon is rumored to be one of the lead candidates for the Arizona Cardinals job.
Per Ian Rappaport.
Somebody's got to take that job.
Well, I guess, yeah, someone's got to do that. Yeah, Ian Rappaport, of course, got to give our credit as the journalist that we are. So it's our final thoughts on Super Bowl 57. And we have about 7 minutes left. Let's go ahead and everybody in here right now will get a couple of minutes.
Why don't you talk about Alex's first?
Yeah, let's do Alex's first. A couple of minutes to give our final Super Bowl predictions. So Alex, who just had to leave, he predicts that the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl 31-24. He has his MVP as Travis Kelce, and his bold prediction is that C.J. Gardner-Johnson will get an interception.
I think those are all fair points.
Yeah, I think so too.
Wow.
I think so too. So Alex has Chiefs. Who do you like?
Well, realistically, if the Chiefs win, your Super Bowl MVP is most likely going to be Mahomes or Kelce.
That is true.
I think it would have to be unless Jerry McKinnon. But other than that,
Okay, so who wants to take the crack at it next?
Marcos.
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead and give us your score, your MVP, and a bold prediction.
Can I get some key points?
Of course. You got 2 minutes. Go for it.
I think this game is going to be won in mainly these few categories. I think if left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. and right tackle Andrew Wiley can hold up Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick respectively, that is going to be huge. They need to do that. They cannot let those two guys have a big game. If they let them have a big game, that blows up plays, that ends third downs, that ends drives, and then that Eagles offense comes onto the field, drains the clock, gets the ball moving, maybe gets a field goal here, gets a big play to Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. I think another big point is C.J. Gardner-Johnson, like Alex mentioned, being able to cover Travis Kelce and limit him. Obviously, the great players show up on the great stages, and Travis Kelce has shown that he's going to do that. But can the Eagles stop him or limit that? Put a little cap on it. I think those two things are going to be the main factors in who wins this ballgame.
So who does win?
I have the Eagles.
Eagles, give us a score.
This one's so tough because I feel like it could end up being a high-scoring game because with Patrick Mahomes, you can never count that out. But I got the Eagles winning, and if the Eagles win, I think it's going to be a little less scoring. So I'm going to go Eagles 27, Chiefs 24.
All right, you got an MVP?
Jalen Hurts.
Okay. All right. Aiden, you're up.
Okay, I got a couple.
Good stuff right there, Marcos, by the way. That was very well laid out.
Appreciate it.
I got a couple stats for you.
Go for it.
So, Patrick Mahomes, he was the regular season MVP, and he was the passing yards leader. No passing yards leader or MVP has won the Super Bowl the same year since Kurt Warner, 1999.
Wow, what a stat. What a stat drop.
It's been close several times. Several people have been close, but it hasn't happened. And the more I look at it, I just think the Eagles from top to bottom have a better team. I'm worried about those Chiefs receivers being injured. And I just feel like it's going to be a great game. Both teams are going to score 2 touchdowns. There's going to be a lot of field goals, a lot of red zone stops. We haven't seen a Super Bowl won on a game-winning kick since, I believe, the 2 Patriots Super Bowls, those back-to-back. We haven't seen a game-winning kick as time expires. And I believe the Eagles are going to win on a game-winning field goal as time expires. Give me the Eagles 26, Chiefs 23. Mahomes going to have a good game. Probably turns the ball over maybe once. Jalen Hurts is going to play decent. I think A.J. Brown's going to be a stud this game. I see like 120, 130 yards catching. I think he's the MVP.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I like your take right there. All right.
I do want to say the Kansas City Chiefs at least have no injury designations for this game. So no one is questionable. No one is doubtful. I think Mecole Hardman is out.
He's on the IR.
But he's on the IR. There's no active players that are have an injury designation.
And now we leave it to James.
So with me, look, y'all guys made some fantastic points, and we broke down the whole thing, from top to bottom, right? And I just think that the Chiefs' overall experience in this big game, the coaching staffs with Andy Reid and everything like that, I think Mahomes obviously is going to be the biggest X factor. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to stymie a little bit of that pass rush with their offensive line, and I think the Chiefs will be able to move the ball down the field just like the way they did against the Bengals. And let's not forget, the Bengals had a pretty good pass rush as well, pretty good defense, and the Chiefs were still able to move the ball. I got Travis Kelce going off today. I think he takes advantage of that soft middle with the linebackers and that zone coverage that the Eagles will be in. I'm going to go Kelce as my MVP. And with that being said, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs do win a very close game. I'm going to go Chiefs 28. I'm going to go Eagles 24. Travis Kelce is my MVP. And my bold take is going to be this. The Chiefs are going to come back from 10 points in the second half to win this game.
Like they did against the Niners?
Yeah, it's going to be a 10-point comeback again. I think the Chiefs will be down in the second half by 10 or maybe even more, and the Chiefs come back, win it.
I think I'm slightly rooting for the Chiefs because I like Mahomes a lot. So, I wouldn't be upset if either team wins or loses. You know who won't be upset is Mama Kelce. I guess maybe for
Mama Kelce.
Mama and Daddy
That's a good
Kelce.
story. Go ahead, Marcos. We got about a minute left.
Do you think for my bold take it could be that 5+ sacks for the Eagles?
Yeah, of course. That's a bold take.
Yeah, I think that's bold. I think that's a high enough number.
That's a good one. I agree. So there we go. That's our Super Bowl show. Super Sunday, baby. We did it. And I'm glad y'all guys were here for the ride. Everybody who got in on Twitter, on the text line, on the social medias, thank y'all so much for weighing in this morning. Appreciate Alex Weister being here. Surprise appearance. Adin, great stuff as always, my dude. And Marcos fighting through injury this morning. Great stuff being here, man. I thought you really did fantastic, and I do appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you.
For sure. And Super Bowl Sunday, everybody enjoy today. Crack a beer, barbecue, relax, have a good time. It's Super Bowl Sunday. It's Chiefs and Eagles. And with that being said, for Adin Ducker, Alex Weister, for Marcos Marroquin, I am James Espinosa. No more questions. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. We'll talk to you next week.